90-Day Fiancé The Other Way, Why Jenny Slatin and Sumit Singh Are Season 7's Highlight. Jenny Slatin and Sumit Singh are one of two returning couples featured on 90-Day Fiancé The Other Way, Season 7. Over the years, they have become one of the most talked about, controversial, emotional, and unforgettable couples in the entire franchise. Viewers have watched their relationship evolve from an online romance filled with deception to a real-life marriage tested by culture, family, age, and trust. Unlike many couples who appear for one season and disappear, Jenny and Sumit's story has unfolded slowly, painfully, and honestly across multiple seasons. Their journey has never been simple, it has never been smooth, but it has always been compelling. The couple has previously appeared on 3 seasons of The Other Way, meaning longtime viewers feel deeply connected to their ups and downs. We've seen them at their worst moments, betrayal, heartbreak, rejection, and at their most hopeful moments, reconciliation, engagement, and marriage. Jenny is 30 years older than Sumit, and their significant age gap has been one of the most obvious and controversial aspects of their relationship. While age is often just a number, in their case it became a constant source of tension, not only between them, but especially with Sumit's traditional Indian family. Cultural expectations in India differ greatly from those in America, particularly regarding marriage, family honor, and societal roles. A younger Indian man marrying a much older American woman challenges deeply rooted traditions. Cultural differences have also played a major role. Jenny lived her entire life in the United States before moving to India. She was used to American independence, lifestyle, and social norms. Adjusting to life in India, its customs, expectations, family hierarchy, and daily routines was not easy. In India, family involvement in marriage is not optional, it is central. Parents' approval matters deeply. Living with extended family is common. Household responsibilities are often traditional. For Jenny, this meant stepping into a world completely unfamiliar to her. Since Jenny and Sumit are one of the more popular couples on The Other Way Season 7, it's worth looking back at everything they faced from Season 1 until now to understand why they remain such a powerful presence on the show. Jenny Slatin and Sumit Singh broke up after a heartbreaking betrayal during 90-Day Fiancé The Other Way, Season 1. Jenny and Sumit were first introduced to viewers during Season 1, and from the very beginning, their love story already carried a shocking twist. Before they ever met in person, their relationship began online. Sumit initially catfished Jenny. He created a fake identity and used photos of another man to attract her. For many people, that would have been the immediate end of any potential romance. Being deceived like that is painful and humiliating. But when Sumit finally revealed the truth and showed Jenny his real photo, something unexpected happened. She still had feelings for him. Jenny didn't walk away. Instead, she chose forgiveness. That decision alone revealed something important about Jenny's personality. She was deeply emotionally invested. She valued connection more than appearance. She believed in the love they had built through conversation and vulnerability. After years of long-distance communication, video calls, and emotional bonding, Jenny made a life-altering decision. She decided to leave America, her home, her comfort zone, her stability, and move to India to be with Sumit. For a woman in her 60s to pack up her life and relocate across the world for love is no small step. It was bold, it was risky, it was romantic, and it was terrifying. But once she arrived in India, reality hit hard. Sumit's family didn't know about Jenny. This wasn't a small secret. In Indian culture, family approval is not optional. Marriages are often arranged. Parents' opinions carry enormous weight. The fact that Sumit had hidden Jenny from his family immediately created instability. Jenny believed the secrecy was mainly because of their age difference. She assumed that once his family saw how much they loved each other, they would eventually accept her. But that hope slowly started to crumble. Sumit would often leave Jenny alone in their apartment to spend time with his family. For Jenny, who had moved across the world and left everything behind, being left alone in a foreign country felt isolating and frightening. She didn't know the language well, she didn't have friends, she depended heavily on Sumit. The emotional imbalance became clear. Then came the bombshell that shattered everything. At the end of season 1, Jenny discovered that Sumit had been hiding a massive secret. He was already married. Not just casually involved, not separated, married. His marriage had been arranged by his family, and he claimed he was pressured into it. But to Jenny, the reason didn't erase the betrayal. She had sacrificed everything for him, and all along he had been living a double life. The revelation was devastating. Jenny broke down in tears. The heartbreak wasn't just about the marriage, it was about trust. She felt humiliated, betrayed, and foolish. She had defended him, believed in him, and moved across the world for him. Feeling that the relationship was beyond repair, Jenny left India in emotional agony. She believed her love story with Sumit was over forever. Viewers were shocked. Many assumed this was the end, but it wasn't. A shocking reconciliation in season 2. To the surprise of many fans, Jenny and Sumit reconciled after season 1. Despite the betrayal, their emotional bond proved stronger than expected. Sumit claimed he never truly loved his arranged wife and that his heart had always belonged to Jenny. He promised to finalize his divorce. He insisted he wanted a real future with her. At the beginning of season 2, Jenny made a shocking decision. She went back to India. This choice showed how deeply she loved him. Even after public humiliation and heartbreak, she was willing to give him another chance. It wasn't blind forgiveness, it was emotional attachment combined with hope. Sumit promised he would work on finalizing his divorce as quickly as possible. While Jenny remained cautious, she couldn't deny her feelings. Once she returned to India, the couple moved into a new home, a fresh start symbolizing a new chapter. But peace didn't last long. Sumit's parents were firmly against the relationship. Their opposition wasn't subtle, it was intense and emotional. They worried about social judgment, cultural embarrassment, and the future. They couldn't understand why their son would choose a woman 30 years older than him, especially one who couldn't give them grandchildren. Throughout season 2, much of Sumit's storyline revolved around trying to win his parents' blessing. He wanted both love and family approval, but balancing those two goals proved nearly impossible. His divorce was eventually finalized, a huge milestone. Legally, he was free, but emotionally and culturally, he was still trapped between two worlds. Despite the constant tension, the season ended on a hopeful note. Jenny and Sumit officially became engaged. It felt like a victory after so much pain. They weren't fully accepted, but they were committed. The couple finally married during The Other Way Season 3. When Jenny Slatan and Sumit Singh returned for The Other Way Season 3, viewers were cautiously hopeful. After the heartbreak of Season 1 and the emotional roller coaster of Season 2, it seemed like they had finally overcome the biggest obstacle, Sumit's secret marriage. The divorce was finalized, they were engaged. But as fans had learned by then, nothing in Jenny and Sumit's story was ever simple. Season 3 introduced a new and urgent problem, Jenny's visa. As an American citizen living in India, Jenny could not stay indefinitely without proper documentation. Her time in the country had limits, and the clock was ticking. If she couldn't secure a long-term solution, she would be forced to return to the United States, once again separating from Sumit. This time, however, the stakes were even higher. They were engaged. They had already endured public humiliation, parental rejection, and years of uncertainty. Going back to long distance felt unbearable. Jenny explored her options. One possibility was applying for a missionary visa. This type of visa would allow her to stay in India legally for a longer period of time. However, the process required commitment and involvement in religious activities. Jenny struggled with the idea. She didn't want to fake devotion or commit to something she wasn't fully prepared to dedicate herself to. She was honest about her hesitation, and that honesty narrowed their options. Eventually, it became clear that marriage was the only real solution. If Jenny and Sumit got legally married in India, she would be eligible to apply for a spouse visa. It would secure her ability to stay long-term. But marriage wasn't just a legal step for them. It was deeply emotional and culturally complicated. Sumit still desperately wanted his parents' blessing. For him, marriage without their approval felt incomplete. In Indian culture, marriage is not just about two individuals, it's about two families. Parents play a central role. Their blessing is considered sacred. Without it, the union feels dishonorable in the eyes of the community. Sumit's mother, in particular, remained strongly opposed. But in Season 3, something shifted. Instead of outright rejection, she offered conditional consideration. She said she would think about accepting Jenny if certain expectations were met. One of those expectations was that Jenny prove she could be a proper Indian housewife. For Western viewers, this requirement seemed outdated and unfair, but in Sumit's family's cultural framework, it was about respect, adaptation, and willingness to integrate into their way of life. To test Jenny, Sumit's parents temporarily moved in with the couple. This arrangement created intense pressure. Jenny suddenly found herself under constant observation. Sumit's mother evaluated everything: how she cleaned, how she cooked, how she organized the home. She corrected her methods, pointed out mistakes, and made her expectations clear. It wasn't easy. Jenny was in her 60s, set in her habits, and raised in a completely different culture. Being taught how to run a household properly at that stage of life was humbling and at times humiliating. There were moments when she felt criticized rather than guided. But she tried. She listened. She adjusted. She practiced cooking traditional Indian meals. She worked on cleaning techniques that met her mother-in-law's standards. It wasn't about perfection, it was about effort. Over time, small cracks began forming in the wall of resistance. Sumit's parents started to see that Jenny wasn't trying to disrespect their culture. She genuinely loved their son. She was willing to adapt. She wasn't there to change him or isolate him from his family. Emotional conversations unfolded throughout the season. Tears were shed. Accusations were made. Fears were expressed. Sumit's mother admitted she worried about social judgment. She feared what relatives and neighbors would say. She worried about the absence of grandchildren. On the other hand, Jenny expressed her fear of losing Sumit forever if acceptance never came. By the end of the season, something remarkable happened. Sumit's parents softened. They told Jenny they loved her. It wasn't an explosive celebration. It wasn't a complete transformation overnight, but it was progress, real emotional progress. In one of the most shocking and dramatic twists of their entire storyline, Sumit and Jenny decided to get married. However, they did so without informing his parents beforehand. After spending so much time chasing approval, the couple finally chose each other above everything else. They went ahead with a private ceremony and legally tied the knot. For viewers who had watched their story from the beginning, this moment felt monumental. From catfishing to secret marriage revelations to family rejection, now they were officially husband and wife. It was the ending fans had been waiting for. But as always, marriage did not magically erase every issue. Life after marriage. Reality sets in. While Season 3 ended with celebration, marriage introduced new layers of complexity. For Jenny, becoming Sumit's wife was a dream fulfilled, but it also intensified her anxiety about acceptance. Even though his parents had softened, she still worried that deep down they might never truly embrace her. For Sumit, marriage created a sense of relief, but also pressure. He was now legally and emotionally bound to a woman 30 years older than him, in a society that frequently questioned that choice. There were also practical realities to confront. Jenny worried about aging. She worried about being a burden someday. She knew that as the older partner, her health could decline first. She feared leaving Sumit alone later in life. Sumit, meanwhile, had to navigate questions from friends, family, and society. In many Indian communities, marriage often comes with expectations of children and traditional family roles. With Jenny, those expectations would never be fulfilled in the conventional way. Despite these challenges, their bond seemed stronger than ever. They laughed together, they teased each other, they appeared comfortable in their daily routines. After years of chaos, their relationship finally had stability. But viewers still wondered, would this peace last? Sumit's family has finally accepted his marriage with Jenny on The Other Way Season 7. Now, in Season 7 of The Other Way, Jenny and Sumit return once again, and this time, the energy feels different. For the first time in their long journey, there is genuine acceptance. Sumit's family has finally embraced their marriage openly. The tension that once defined every interaction has softened into something closer to understanding. The hostility that once drove Jenny to tears has transformed into cautious warmth. This evolution did not happen overnight. It was built through years of persistence, emotional endurance, and refusal to give up. Jenny never stopped showing up. Sumit never stopped defending his choice. In Season 7, the couple makes a surprising decision. They move in with Sumit's family. For many viewers who remember the explosive confrontations of earlier seasons, this development feels almost unbelievable. The same family that once threatened emotional estrangement is now sharing a home with Jenny. Living together marks a new chapter, but it also reintroduces familiar anxieties. Jenny is happy to finally be accepted. She feels validated after years of feeling unwanted, but she worries that Sumit Sumaitar may expect too much from her. Old insecurities resurface. Will she be judged again on her housekeeping? Will she be compared to traditional Indian daughters-in-laws? Will her age be brought up indirectly? These concerns create quiet tension beneath the surface of their new family dynamic. At the same time, Jenny and Sumit embark on another major step. They decide to open a family cafe together. This business venture represents unity. It symbolizes collaboration between Jenny, Sumit, and his family. It shows trust. It shows integration. For the first time, Jenny isn't just tolerated, she's included. Opening a cafe also gives the couple a shared purpose beyond their relationship drama. It allows them to build something tangible together. It shifts their storyline from survival to growth. 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, Why Jenny Slatin and Sumit Singh are Season 7's highlight. Jenny Slatin and Sumit Singh are one of two returning couples featured on 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way Season 7. The couple has previously appeared on 3 seasons of The Other Way, so viewers are familiar with their story. Jenny is 30 years older than Sumit, which has been an obstacle in their relationship. Cultural differences have also played a part, as Jenny has found it difficult to adjust to living in India after living in America for her entire life. Since Jenny and Sumit are one of the more popular couples on The Other Way Season 7, we figured it would be good to take a look back on the journey. Here's everything the couple has faced on The Other Way, from Season 1 up until now. Jenny Slatin and Sumit Singh broke up after a heartbreaking betrayal during 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way Season 1. Jenny and Sumit were first introduced to viewers during The Other Way Season 1. While Sumit initially catfished Jenny, she fell in love with him and was still attracted to him when he showed her his real picture. After years of long distance, Jenny finally decided to move to India to be with Sumit. The move was quite the challenge, however. Sumit's family didn't know about his relationship with Jenny, which she believed to be solely due to their age gap. Sumit would often leave Jenny alone to go and be with his family, which left her frustrated. At the end of the season, Jenny discovered that Sumit had been hiding a huge secret from her. He had been secretly married all along, although it was an arranged marriage his family had forced him into. Jenny left India in tears, believing her relationship with Sumit was over for good. To the surprise of many, Jenny and Sumit reconciled after season 1. At the beginning of season 2, Jenny even decided to go back to India to be with Sumit. He promised that he would work on finalizing his divorce as soon as possible. While Jenny was still hurt, she loved Sumit too much to let him go. Once Jenny arrived in India, she and Sumit moved into a new home. However, things quickly became complicated again. Sumit's parents were strictly opposed to his relationship with Jenny, and he spent the season chasing after their blessing. His divorce was finalized, but his parents were still reluctant to accept them. Nonetheless, the season ended on a positive note for Jenny and Sumit, as they officially became engaged. The couple finally married during The Other Way Season 3. Jenny and Sumit returned for a third time during The Other Way Season 3. While their relationship had improved, Jenny had to find a way to stay in India before her visa expired. She looked into getting a missionary visa, but ultimately didn't feel like she'd be able to fully commit to the process. This left only one option. Jenny and Sumit had to get married. Sumit wanted his parents to be on board with the relationship, and his mom agreed to consider it under a few conditions. She wanted to ensure that Jenny could be a proper Indian housewife. Sumit's parents moved in with the couple temporarily so that his mom could teach Jenny how to run a proper Indian household. By the end of the season, Sumit's parents seemed more accepting and even told Jenny that they loved her. Jenny and Sumit ended up getting married at the end of the season, although they didn't tell his parents. Sumit's family has finally accepted their marriage with Jenny on The Other Way Season 7. Jenny and Sumit have now returned to The Other Way for Season 7. The couple has come a long way, and Sumit's family has finally embraced their marriage with open arms. This season, Jenny and Sumit even moved in with his family and decided to open a family cafe with them. While Jenny is happy to finally be accepted, she is worried that Sumit's mom will expect too much from her.